What is good, everybody? It is your boy, Say My Name Soldier, coming at you with a Base Canyon Year 5 Festival Guide. In this video, I will be covering everything from my meetup spot to arrival info, campground tips, general advice I can give for the whole weekend. Whether this is your first Base Canyon or you are a Base Canyon vet like myself, I wanted to make a video providing all the helpful information that I have in my wealth of knowledge so that you have the best Base Canyon experience ever. So without further ado, let's get right into this. Arrival, when you get to Base Canyon. So it's important to identify key important locations for the festival campgrounds. So let me go ahead and move over to the spot I'm talking about. So when you get to Base Canyon, this is, I think it's Silica Road is how you pronounce it. Depending on what time you get there, there will be a line of cars, traffic on this road, and it will lead you up to this spot right here. And then you start getting into the campgrounds, and this up here is where they start funneling people into the general admission campground. This location right here in the dead center is called the Pivot. The Pivot is where water stations, food vendors, merch vendors, this whole location where this will be at. And then also last year they added a stage that is usually like right here in this area in a primo spot right in the center. So there's a nice vibe for the whole food vendor central location for the entire campground. So with that point of reference that we have, the Pivot area, I'm going to go back down to this road we were talking about, Silica Road. You pull in, and this spot right here to the left, this is the general store, but the small general store. The large general store, I'll go over in just a little bit. This small general store, it used to be a lot smaller in years past, but last year was the first year where it had been expanded. It's a much bigger building. Now, just for reference, this small general store is smaller than the large general store. It has basic amenities, like if you forgot a toothbrush, if you need to get water. I'm pretty sure they have ice. They most certainly have ice so that you can put in your cooler and stuff like that. So the very, drinks, I'm pretty sure they have alcohol and things like that. And then there's, I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's restrooms right here and everything. So this is the small general store. It's good to know that. Now, if we go up here a little bit, up the road, I believe it is, or maybe it's, give me one sec, I'm trying to think. I think this is actually the area I'm thinking of right here, these buildings. I'm pretty sure, yes, this is where customer service is. So not will call, but customer service. So I think if you have issues with like your campground ticket or anything like that, this is the building that you will go to. This is also, I think, where the shuttles are supposed to drop people off. In years past, I've had shuttles drop me off at the wrong spot. And then also pick up for leaving Base Canyon to take you back to the airport. This is where the buses come in and people line up along this fence and everything. Okay, so we've identified a couple points of reference: the Pivot, this small general store with the bathrooms, and the customer service location. Now let's head up this road. Now the distance between the small general store and the Pivot area, it's not that long of a walk. It takes just a couple minutes. It's not that bad. And just for any of you that don't know, this huge circle is all of general admission. This is the general admission camping. Terrace is right here to the left if you have terrace camping. But I'm mainly going to be talking about GA camping right here. So water stations, so you go to the Pivot area. The water stations are usually like right here to the left in this area. And then let's see what else I have. Food. So food is all around. So food is pretty much this area right here. And then the vendors are kind of in this grass area, and it kind of just makes like, this half moon circle between like the food, the vendors, water stations. The campground stage is right here. I believe, yeah, the silent disco is usually around this area right here. So cool. Now we have our reference point and all of the information on that whole area. So let's see what else I got. I'm going off of notes here if you haven't been able to tell, because I wrote a bunch of stuff down. So the walk. Okay. So when you leave the campground to the festival, I'm going to give you that distance so that you can account for the time that it takes. The distance between the pivot area, if you're in the center, to the front gate, the main gate of the festival, it's just under a mile. It takes about 20 to 25 minutes to walk a mile. So when you are planning on leaving the campground location to go to the festival, it's at least a 20-25 minute walk. If you're stopping by the general store on your way in, just account for that amount of time that it takes to walk. If you're in Terrace and you're using the shuttle, it's obviously different. If you are in gold camping like I will be right here to the left, obviously I'm a lot closer than general admission. I camped Terrace the first year. And then I think I've done GA camping twice, and then I've done gold camping once. I did gold camping last year, and I'm doing gold camping again with my boy Tony and my Canadian homies. I really like gold camping. It's very close to the festival entrance. It's close to the main general store to get ice and all that stuff. So when I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go, it's just a couple minute walk to the entrance. Super nice. The only thing is when the festival is over each day, and you're like, man, I'm hungry. Then we have to walk from gold camping to the pivot. But honestly, after the festival, we have so much energy. That walk it's really not that bad. Like I said, it's about a mile. It's not too bad. Let's see what else I got. I'm pretty sure last year they opened the gates at 2 p.m. and I was there before 2 p.m. So I was there right away when the gates open. So if you get there between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m., like if you're just kind of chilling with your homies, pre-game and all that stuff, if you leave at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. getting there, it's relatively quick getting through security. It just depends. If you leave between 5 and 8 p.m., you have to account for at least an hour to an hour and a half to get through security, in addition to the time it took to walk from the GA camping. And then plus when you get inside the festival, you got to get water, you got to get drinks, you got to go to the locker, you got to get food, you got to use the restroom before you're actually in a good spot and a position to get on the hill, ready to rage, ready to go. So basically, if you leave anytime after 4 p.m. to go into Base Canyon, you have to account for at least 2 hours before you will be ready to be on the hill, ready to go, because of the walk, the time to get through security, do all the stuff you need to do as soon as you get inside. Like I said, hitting lockers, hitting the bathroom, getting some drinks before you're actually ready. The reason why I bring this up is because, it's horrible missing sets that you want to see. So, for example, if you look at the schedule and you know for sure you don't want to miss the set that is at 7 p.m., you want to be leaving the campground between 4:30 and 5, again, to account for the time it takes to actually get inside the festival and be ready to go. If there's a set at 6 p.m. that you really want to see and you don't want to miss, you need to leave at 4 p.m. If there's a set at 5 p.m. you don't want to miss, you need to leave at 3 p.m. just so that you can account for all the time. If you're like me and you want to be one of the first people walking into the amphitheater at 2 p.m. when it opens, you need to be in line at 1 p.m., which means leaving the campground around 12:30. Unless, of course, like I said, the exception is if you're in Terrace or you're in gold camping, to which it's a lot quicker to get to the festival entrance. But you still have to account for the line of people that are getting through security to get inside, and then all the time it takes to do all the stuff you need to do before you're ready to go. There could be a few dozen to maybe a couple hundred people lined up at 1:30 p.m. before the gates open at 2 p.m. So just account for that amount of time too. All right, so some best advice that I can give, just general festival advice. Preload your water on day 0. So if you are hitting up the festival, you're getting there day 0, and you're going to be doing the pre-party and stuff. If you want to be hydrated for day 1 Base Canyon, you need to be drinking a lot of water on day 0. It's called preloading your water. So if you're, having some drinks and doing all that other stuff on day 0, you need to be drinking twice as much water as you are alcohol, so that the next day you avoid hangovers and that you're hydrated properly for day 1. A lot of people don't understand that, and they wake up day 1 and they're like, oh, I don't want, I need to hydrate before we head in there. you can't hydrate in a couple hours to be good for the day, right? Because you're going to be drinking water throughout the day regardless. But if you want to stay hydrated for all of day one, drink plenty of water on day 0. Now, of course, that means that you're going to be having to go pee a lot. You're going to be, going to the restroom sometimes every 20, 30 minutes. You're going to, I got to go to the restroom again. I got to go to the restroom again. Just, it is what it is. Drink as much water as possible so that you avoid having hangovers and that you're hydrated for day 1. That is very good general festival advice for staying hydrated. Another piece of advice is pretty much obvious. Most people who have done festivals before know this, but having one of those 3-day charging lockers is really important, especially for me because I have so much equipment on me and everything. So if you're able to get a 3-day locker, I highly recommend it. They are charging lockers, so whether there's a cable inside of the lockers to charge your stuff, I think they kind of did away with those lockers. Now they just have lockers that have separate charging blocks that you can take with you and bring with you. That way you don't have to keep your phone inside of the locker in order to charge it. But just having the locker, if you're buying merch and stuff like that, you want to bring a sweatshirt and keep it in the locker in case it gets cold at night. Having a locker is definitely useful. And that is another thing, is definitely have cold weather attire, like a sweatshirt, pants. If you're, wearing a G-string and it's, 11 o'clock at night and it starts getting windy, it gets cold real quick. It has been windy in years past. 2021 on day 3, the main stage was shut down for an hour and 40 minutes because of the wind. The other stages were still open, so most of the people flooded those other stages. I, however, remained in the same spot because I didn't want to lose it. And then when they opened the stage back up, when the wind died down, we were good to go. Not last year, I think it was, so it was the same year, 2021, on day 2, I headed in early, like I normally do, and after being there for less than an hour during Eliminate set, it started to pour rain, and I mean pouring rain, not like light rain, drizzle, you get a little wet, no, like dumping rain for an hour. I was not prepared. I didn't have my wet weather gear. I only had my custom jersey, and I got soaked. I got super cold really quick. I ended up having to leave the campground area, the festival area, go back to camping, put on, dry, warm clothes and come back. And that's a whole, there's more to that story, but that's the gist of it. So, wherever you get your supplies, camping supplies, you can get a packet. It comes with like a wet weather top and wet weather bottoms, and it comes in this nice pouch. Keep it in your Camelback, bring it with you day 1. If you have a locker, throw it in your locker, leave it in there all weekend long. That way, if anything happens, if it, you can see some storm clouds coming in, you're like, I'm going to go grab that wet weather stuff, have it in your Camelback, and then if it starts dumping rain, you're at least staying dry so that when the rain passes, you take all that stuff off, boom, you're good to go. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but so I did the distance mapping from the pivot area, and I wanted to show you, like, you walk from the pivot, you walk down this road, you hit this corner right here, and then you go through this way. This is a pathway. Take it all the way down to this hairpin. Right after the hairpin, there's this tunnel. When you reach the tunnel, it curves around. This is the main general store. And you just keep following this pathway all the way to the festival entrance, which is right here. And this building right here, this is will call for your tickets. This little cutout section right here, this is usually where like the security point is. They kind of do a zigzag sometimes and funnel you to the main entrance where you scan your wristband and then you walk in. And when you walk down this path right here, zoom out a little bit. Off to the right, there's this little pond. And this area off to the right over here where the grass is, this is where the Hilltop stage is, the second stage. So that's where this stage is. Right here, sorry, I gotta let my maps load. Right here, this is an alcohol vendor right here, this white building. This right here is where I found Dion Timmer and caught doves at the pre-party. Day 0 last year, that was pretty cool. Right here, this is all food vendors. Right here, this is all food vendors. And then if you follow just a point of reference to the left is where I told you you walk into the hill area for the main stage. And this road right here, this is where they set up all of the merch vendors. So yeah, they're all lined up right here. This building right here, this white building, is where they put the lockers. Let's see, let me zoom out a little bit so I have a reference point. All right, so this building right here, it's kind of like a general store, but inside the festival. I'm pretty sure on the left side of this building, they have stuff like, aspirin, Advil, things of that nature that you can't really bring in unless it's a sealed package. There's a spot right here where you can buy general amenity stuff. This building right here is the med tent. You can see the cross on the top. And then over here in this grass area, they do like some shade covering. This is where they added the third stage a couple years ago, a very small, minimal stage, but it helps add to a nice vibe over here because over here is also where the restrooms are. So this is a whole area that is kind of tucked back in here. This is like a platform. I don't think VIP can get in here, but it's for like, family members of artists and stuff like that. It's like a raised platform that overlooks the amphitheater. Like I said, over here are restrooms. This is where all the artists hang out. So there's restrooms over here. Just for point of reference, this is the main stage. This is my spot on the hill. Some really good advice is there are porta potties right here, right where this pathway is. It's kind of covered a little bit by trees. So if you are on the hill, right, and you're raging, you're like, I gotta pee. Instead of going all the way over here to the right, you can actually just come right down here to porta potties. The bathrooms over to the right I think they have lights in them for the ladies, so that they can do their business with a little bit better environment than a porta potty with no light. But for all the dudes that are like, nope, just gotta piss, come down here and there's porta potties right there. This area right here is really cool. So this spot right here, you can go in and take pictures right here with the canyon in the background. I've done that before, and it's a really cool spot. And then to the left of that, they are serving drinks, hot dogs, I think maybe burgers, just very basic food right here. And then I'm pretty sure this white building right here is like a VIP area. So VIP only for right there for snagging drinks and stuff. This whole section right here is VIP. There are chairs and tables. ADA accessibility is right here. So these are all for wheelchairs and handicap. And then this area right here, this grass area, I'm pretty sure most of this, this whole area right here is VIP. There's a pathway right here that takes you down to the pivot area. So if you're on the hill and you're like, all right, I want to go down to the pivot, instead of going all the way around right here, you can just cut through this pathway right here. It takes you all the way down, and then you kind of got to go around like this, and then you're in the pivot area. If you want some advice, pretty much anytime after 5 p.m., this area starts to fill up pretty quick because this is the pit area. And when you come in, I recommend that you walk along the front of this VIP area, because this VIP area is raised a little bit, and there's a fence, and so you can just walk along this fence right here, and I would make your way to the production booth. Once you get to the production booth, now you're pretty much center with the stage, and then from there you can kind of pick where you want to be. If you want to be off to the right a little bit, if you want to be off to the left a little bit, it's good to cut in through the gate right here. This is where a lot of people leave and go back and forth. If you try cutting through the crowd when it's really thick, it gets annoying. People get mad at you and stuff like that if you're not polite. So yeah, just make your way to the production booth and then pick from there where you want to go. Like I said, if you're in this area and you got to use the restroom, boom, you can just hit these porta potties if it's an emergency, or you just don't want to take the time to walk all the way over. Like I said, food, drinks right here. Oh yeah, this is also one of the water stations. Very important. I'll go over that now, is all the water stations. So there's a water station down here. And then to get back up to the hill, you go like this, this pathway. There's a hairpin right here. You walk up this path, and then you can cut around this corner right here. Now you're on the grass, the hill, and this area right here is also where other water stations are. So if you're on the hill anywhere in this area, I would recommend hitting this water spot. It's at the top of the hill. As soon as you're done filling water, you can look out and see the entire hill, the crowd. The view is amazing. You can still see the stage. You can see the king. And the sound delay is really bad. So pretty much from this left speaker, 1, 2, 3 speakers, if you're to the left of the speaker, the sound isn't very good. But it's a nice place to hang out, you know, get a good view. I just personally wouldn't stay there long. I've recorded sets in the past where, you know, I started recording up here at the top of the hill, and the sound doesn't really get good until you're kind of really in front of this very left speaker, and then you work your way over and then it sounds fine. So just as a point of reference. Oh yeah, let's see if there's are there any other water locations? Oh yeah, there's a water refill station right here. So this building I showed you, alcohol. This is where I met Dion Timmer for the second time. There is a water station. I think they put it to the right of this building. So anyways, you know, things can change. But in this general area, there's a water station. Food, vendors, more food here, water down here. I'm trying to think if there's any water stations over here. I can't remember. They might add more, who knows. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that's all I got. I hope this video was informative. If you're doing Base Canyon and you want to meet up with me, now you know where I will be. It's best to communicate. Send me a message on Instagram and say, hey, I want to meet up with you at Base Canyon. Send me a message on Instagram and I will send out a message to everybody who wants to come hang out, basically giving updates of where I'll be and stuff like that. Like I said at the beginning of the video, what I like to do is hold this spot all weekend long. If I have a bunch of homies that are there and I feel like going down to the pit area to get, you know, different shots and stuff like that, if I have homies there that are holding down the spot, then I'm not worried about somebody taking it because all my homies are there. Yeah. So you know where to find me. Super excited for this year. Base Canyon year 5. Base Canyon is my favorite festival. It is my 27th festival. And yeah, I love Lost Lands. I love EDC, but the Gorge Amphitheater is the most beautiful venue on earth. I love it so much. I've done every single year of Base Canyon. I have met so many people that have come up to me like, yo, you're saying my name's Soldier. And I love it when you guys do that. I really appreciate the support, the love for what I do. I love what I do. I don't make money off of doing what I do, but I'm going to keep doing it. It makes me happy, and I like providing a service, you know, for all of you. If y'all haven't seen my Base Canyon videos from the previous years, I'll provide a link in the description of this video so that you can check them out. Each festival that I do, I make every set that I record into a playlist. And then you can watch all the videos from that specific year of that festival. So all the videos from Base Canyon last year, you can check in the playlist in the description. Thank you all for the love and support on my videos last year. The Subtronics video, I think it will hit 70,000 views this week, which is amazing. That is my highest viewed video of all time. One of the best sets I've seen of all time. Day 3 headliner. Most likely Excision back-to-back Subtronics. That's going to be legendary. It's going to be insane, just like Wooly back-to-back Excision last year. I am unbelievably stoked for all the new artists that we have this year. Hopefully I'll get to record for Alien Park if he's still down to do that. And yeah, it's been saying my name's Soldier, guys. Thank you so much. go, base gang day 1, 2022, year 4. About to walk in the same way I did last year. Let's fucking go, baby. This is my spot, baby. Let's go.